Thank you so much. I'm at Rongo University FM, that is broadcasting at a frequency of 87.9. It's in the afternoon and it's on 27th of January 2021. And at the studio, I'm glad to host Mr. Enoch Makoma, that is coordinator of UNESCO Chair, Rongo University. And at the same time, I'm also glad to host Miss Angela Silima. Mr. Angela Silima is the Deputy Director for Communication and Information, then coming also from NATCOM, that is Kenya National Commission for UNESCO. And myself, I'm Olga Millicent Award, and I'm once again saying that I'm broadcasting live from Rongo University, and that is at 87.9 FM. And then, as I'd said before, I'll be having a short interview with these great people in the studio, and I'll begin with Miss Angela Silima, who I've said before, that comes from that also comes from NATCOM, and NATCOM has been having association has been having partnership with Rongo University in development issues regarding to communication, and this afternoon I would rather ask Miss Angela that amongst other universities in Kenya, Miss Angela, how comes you got your route in Rongo University, and what is it that Rongo University and NATCOM are doing in partnership to ensure that some of your objectives are realized? Miss Angela.
Thank you so much, Madam Olga, for having me in the studio. My name is Angela Silima, as you have said,
yes,
from Kenya National Commission for UNESCO, and we are partnering with Rongo University, mainly because Rongo University as our partner is chairs the UNESCO Unitwin radio, community radio. So Rongo University is the chair for the UNESCO Unitwin on community radio. So we partner with them in developing community radio because as Kenya National Commission for UNESCO, one of our key focus in the communication and information program is to ensure that we do what we call media development, to promote freedom of expression and promote access to information. So as our Unitwin chair, Rongo University partners with us to ensure that we build the capacity of community radios.
Okay, and I've just asked a question by Ms. Angela just once again, but how comes you chose on working with Rongo University among other private universities that you have in the country?
Madam Olga, thank you so much. UNESCO has a program where we have different universities taking chairmanship in different areas. So specifically for community radio, we have Rongo University. And of course, Rongo University is a very good partner because we have been working with them for a long time. And throughout our period of partnering, we have been able to achieve tremendous results. So in terms of building the capacity of our stakeholders, Rongo has proved to be a great partner, and we are glad that we partner with them.
Thank you so much, Ms. Angela, for that elaborative statement about your partnership with Rongo University. I just got to one of my guests this afternoon, and that is Mark is the coordinator of UNESCO, Rongo University chair. And I would like to ask Mark also to tell our listeners, how did you manage to get a UNESCO chair in the university?
Thank you very much, Madam Olga Millicent. It's a pleasure to be hosted by you in this studio this afternoon.
Pleasure too.
And just to straight away move to your question, winning a UNESCO chair is an elaborate process. It begins by identifying a call for proposals, which is usually issued by UNESCO, that is the United Nations Educational Scientific Organization. And then after a call for proposals is issued, then it becomes a contest. A lot of universities and other institutions all over the world join the competition. They do a concept, then they do a proposal, but within this framework of doing things, they have to identify potential partners. And as they do so, what counts is, for example, if we chose the Kenya National Commission for UNESCO as our partner in this project, what is it that they do which is similar to what we do? Do we have a shared vision? Do we have certain activities that are cross-cutting? Do we match and fit in certain ways? So for the case of NATCOM and Drongo, all the questions that I've posed, the answer was yes. So then we went ahead, did the proposal, and submitted the same in good time. Unfortunately, our proposal, among many others, we are told that in 2018, when we submitted ours, there were about 400 applications, and we were lucky that our proposal was successfully reviewed. Now, just to give you a little more information about this, this is a project that will run for 4 years, beginning 2019 October, when the Vice Chancellor Rongo University signed an agreement with UNESCO. So during this period, we have a lot of activities, and part of the activities that I'm talking about is what we have been witnessing since Monday, the 25th, 2021. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And just to pick from where Mark has left, Ms. Angela is that UNESCO chair will be in Rongo University for the next 4 years. And you say that this project began in 2019. I don't know, is UNESCO as it is, or rather just to be specific, NATCOM, is it realizing the objectives of being in partnership with Rongo University so far?
So far, yes. We have realized, we are realizing our objectives, and in the remaining probably 2 years or 3 years, we look forward to greater achievements. But Rongo University as a partner is a great partner, and of course, our partnership is achieving the goals that we intend to achieve.
Okay, thank you so much. So at least there is a milestone, there is a progress that is being made so far.
Yes, Madam Olga. There are many milestones that we have made so far. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. And just to get to this particular training, Mr. Makuma, I'm glad that I've been one of the participants or facilitators for that matter in the previous workshops that I remember well that began in 2019 towards the end of the year. And so far, this is 2021, and we are holding this a fourth meeting, if I'm not so wrong. And I would say that other than the previous meetings, what difference have you seen in this particular meeting that we've been having from Monday this week?
Well, this has been a very unique case in different aspects, but I want to emphasize on just two. One, previously we had large meetings that would last for 5 days, and we would have between 35 and 60 participants. This time round, we've just had a meeting for about 3 days, but really action-packed. Now, the reason for this is simply because we are building upon the activities that we had in the previous workshop, where we met and we developed radio content, which is geared towards raising awareness on COVID-19, how to manage the pandemic, how to stop the spread or curb the spread of the pandemic. Now, we all know that when you do a draft, be it a podcast or an audio or an advert, sometimes it's not good enough to go on air. But as you're aware, our mission is to come up with the stuff that is of excellent quality. Something that if we put on any radio station and we request that it goes on air, then the public will buy it. And the fact that COVID is a serious global pandemic, we chose to give focus and also to ensure that whatever items we come up with are good enough and resonate with what the public expect in terms of delivery of information. So this workshop is unique because we focus simply on technical issues of production, and that is why we have these ladies and gentlemen who are sufficiently trained and qualified in matters production, editing, and stuff like that. So these are the two unique aspects of the workshop that I chose to focus on. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Mark. And just to go back to Angela, who is also a communicator by training. And again, this particular training, Miss Angela, we had a group of journalists, not only journalists, but producers for that matter. I don't know what's your take. And did you see us making products, this process for this program, or the journalists kind of did not meet your objective for this training?
Thank you so much. For this particular training, we were able to achieve our objectives. We set out to set up a small technical team, as Mr. Makouma has said, and our sole objective was to refine and produce advertisements and podcasts. I think within a period of 3 days, we have been able to perfect the advertisements that we had, and we have excellent advertisements from this training which are ready to go on air. So from NATCOM's point of view and as a communicator, I am 100% glad that we have achieved our objectives.
And just to come back to you, Miss Angela, and I would say I'm sorry for that. I think I would have diverted back to Mark, but before I do that, I would ask that how can journalists debunk misinformation that we normally get from all cultures, be it social media and other sources, that is as a senior communicator for that matter, on COVID-19 especially?
Issues of misinformation and disinformation have been a big challenge to all communicators and media personalities. And I think the best way to deal with misinformation and disinformation is to provide facts. And so if we have journalists and media personalities who are well informed on the facts, it is easier for them to give to the public. And especially when you're dealing with community radio, listeners of community radio rely highly on their media personalities for all their information. So if journalists have the capacity to pick the facts and to simplify these facts to the public, then it is easier for the public to get the facts. So one of the ways in which journalists can help deal with misinformation is basically to break down the facts. Most of the facts and information about COVID-19 is given in English, and community radios play an important role because they break down this information, and especially community radios that are giving the airing in local languages. So they're able to break down this information to languages that can be understood, to simpler information. And that is a very, very, very impactful way of dealing with misinformation and disinformation.
Thank you so much, Ms. Angela. And I think our listeners are getting this very clearly from you. And the journalists across board who are also tuned in at 87.9 this afternoon are also listening and benefiting from your statements. And just back to Mark, is that Mark, for this training that we are here, we've been here for the last 3 days, I would say so. And we managed to have a lot of productions that we have on our desk. How are you going to make sure that this information are disseminated to the public out there?
Well, thank you, Olga, and I'm glad that you've raised this issue. Basically, we're talking about how do we adopt the content that we've developed
so
the
that
past
at the end
few
of the
days.
day, we don't keep it with us,
yes.
but other people are able to consume it elsewhere.
Absolutely. So there are two scenarios here. One, we are engaging and discussing possibilities of enlisting community radio stations within Migori County, Homa Bay County, Kisii County, and Nyamira. Because basically, whatever content that we've developed will resonate with the language of broadcast that we have across the radio stations within the counties that I've mentioned. But now the challenge is who will accept to have these on air without substantial or at least some level of sponsorship. And then that means we have to engage in a conversation on whether we could do so through our what we refer to as corporate social responsibility streams within the participating media stations. But the other option would be, are we able to do a proposal and raise sufficient funds so that each participating radio station is able to air our content on basis of sponsorship? Well, I want to say that this is work in progress, but we are all enthusiastic and passionate about having this nice content. I want to thank you once again, disseminated, because if I once told some friends of mine that if you do a fantastic job and keep it under the table, no one sees it and then it has no impact.
Very true.
But we have the end user in mind, and the end user is that person that probably has been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, and therefore it's not going to be helpful if all this nice stuff is locked in some shelf. So work in progress, as I told you, and we are going to work closely once again with the Kenya National Commission for UNESCO. We are thinking about working with some partners in Germany. I don't want to mention their names right now, and one other partner in Canada. I don't want to mention their names now, but we are seriously on top of this, and I can assure you that we will, whichever way, have this nice content on air.
Thank you so much, Mr. Makuma, for that statement. And I would assure the audience that these packages that you have now will one day reach our consumers at very relevant time. I'm glad I'm being listened to by fellow journalists out there, and they're trying to send me some SMSs. I don't know who gave them our SMS line, but I'm trying to get some SMSs streaming in, and I don't know if I have the time to read all of this, but I try to read what I can. And this is to Angela, I think so. Somebody's asking that are there plans by NATCOM to directly help support community journalists besides this kind of training? Do you have those kind of programs for journalists as NATCOM?
Thank you so much. NATCOM has a program called Communication and Information. Our main objectives in the program is to do what we call media development, to promote freedom of expression and access to information. So we have a lot of programs running that fit into these particular themes. And as NATCOM, our main aim in communication information is to support media houses and journalists basically achieve our objectives. So we work with media houses. Often it is difficult to work with individual media houses, but when we get an opportunity to do so, we do so. But we work with different media houses countrywide, and we build their capacity, we train them, and we support them in different ways depending on our specific objectives.
I think that is clear and is answering one of my questions, that is there any online course by NATCOM to train journalists, and I think it's answering to that.
Yes, and of course even UNESCO as the global body has a lot of online courses. Yes. Not even just courses, but publications, materials that journalists can use to empower themselves. We have, for example, been running a program that helps promote safety of journalists, and this is a program that we have been running for over 6 years that relates to the UN Plan of Action on the safety of journalists. So indeed we are doing a lot to ensure that media and media personalities promote freedom of expression and develop the media, because that is the basis for peace building and democracy.
Out in my interview there, it is a few minutes at one, I think so, if I'm not so wrong. I want to get the punchlines or the parting shots from my guest, and I'll start from Mr. Uma. Your last statement for this.
Well, my last statement is that this is a journey that just begun, and emotionally as Rongo University, emotionally as Rongo University, we are prepared not just to walk the whole stretch of it, but to walk the talk as well. So that if we have promises, we've made promises, at the end of the day we want to see deliverables. That is walking the talk. But apart from that, we would be happy as Rongo University to ensure that by the end of the 48 months during which we are hosting the UNESCO chair on Community Radio for Agricultural Education, the impact that we leave for the community should be as massive as possible. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mark. And Ms. Angela, your last statement.
Thank you so much. My last statement is that just to say that community media plays an important role in generally building the democracy of a country. And our intention is to ensure that media, and especially community radio, is responsive to the everyday needs of our community. So if you live in a community that deals with agriculture, then the community media there should respond to their needs. If the community is suffering from COVID, then the media should respond to this particular need. And so as Kenya National Commission for UNESCO, we will strive to impact on media houses so that they are able to impact on the community.
Thank you so very, very much, my guests and my listeners out there, and as well our director, that is Mr. Pascal Ekesa, for having made this interview possible. It is a few minutes to 1, and I think we should be ready to get news at 1 o'clock. Thanks so much. I'm your host, Olga Millicent. Bye-bye. May God bless.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.